This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. The Randy Rhoads That I Knew, by John Stix. Introduction. I love the Olympics. It presents the finest athletes in the world competing against each other in all manner of sports. Yet the winner of each event easily blows away the competition. There is no best when it comes to playing the guitar, but there are musicians who easily blow away the competition. They do it by inventing a musical language we've never heard before, but which we still immediately understand. They do it by stretching their imagination and inviting us along for the journey. They do it with playing that touches our hearts with emotions that words fail to express. And they do all of these things with the natural ease of expression, like water flowing downstream. My list of such guitar players includes Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, and Randy Rhoads. I am one of the lucky ones to have spent time speaking with Randy Rhoads about his journey, developing his musical language, and his pursuit to touch our hearts. What made Randy so special as a player was that while his natural gifts were boundless, his desire to improve brought him to constantly study the instrument. You know the kid in school who never touches a book and gets straight A's? Then there's the kid who never picks his head up out of a book, who grinds out the A's. Imagine a guitarist whom nature endowed with its highest gifts. Now imagine that same guitarist in a home environment that focused and nurtured those powers. That's Randy Rhoads. So what was extraordinary for us was all that Randy had ever known. His family, particularly his mother, recognized his musical gifts early on and supported and pushed him to explore and excel. Let's face it, Dolores Rhoads made Randy join Ozzy. Randy didn't want to go, but Ozzy had the knowledge and experience to nurture Randy as well, and the seeds of what the two of them planted became the landmark albums Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. Of course, there were other voices heard along the way. There was Kelly Garney, Randy's childhood best friend and first bandmate; Kevin Dubrow, the voice and drive of Quiet Riot; Rudy Sarzo, Randy's buddy from Quiet Riot, whom he brought along to join Ozzy; and his brother and sister, Kel and Kathy, who shared his earliest musical journeys. Beyond any musical powers he possessed, Randy was a kind person, and always considered himself and carried himself as anything but a rock star. I hope the Randy Rhoads That I Knew, stories from bandmates, family and friends, offers you some insight into one of the greatest guitarists the world has known. And, as Randy would have wanted it, leaves you inspired to become an even better player yourself. Be good. John Stix. Early guitar days before Quiet Riot. In our living room, my mom's father had an old Gibson Navy guitar that was sitting up in the corner. And my first memories of Randy were picking that guitar up, laying it down on its back on the floor and trying to pick at it, playing that way. And one of the first songs he ever played on it was Louie, Louie. And that was the beginning of Randy playing guitar. Shortly thereafter, he and I started taking lessons at my mom's school. We both started on acoustic, but Randy quickly went into electric guitar. He was 7, I was 9. And we would go once a week and take our lessons at the school, Masonia, that my mom owned. That was our ritual that began every single Friday. So we all took lessons down at mom's school. Kel took drums. Kathy Rhoads d'Argenzio. You know, music is my business, and I spotted it very early. I knew he had something very special, and I think that carried through. He played with that feeling, which is so important, to put one player above the others who are also so good technically. He would always mention that to me. When we would play together, flute and guitar, he'd say, "Let's play with real feeling," even though we were just playing for enjoyment. Dolores Rhoads. Music was the main focus. He played sports in junior high school, and that just wasn't his cup of tea. He wanted to get home and practice, and get to his music. That really was his life. He was so dedicated to the guitar. I've taught for many, many years and I've never seen anyone so dedicated. Dolores Rhoads. I started my daughter and Randy at the same time. Back then, they started with a...
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.